Hello, my name is Kim, and in this reading, we are going to find out what somebody else's take on a specific situation is. So, if there is a specific situation that you are dealing with that involves another or others that you want to know another's perspective on it, especially someone who is also involved in this specific situation, then this is the reading for you. So, all I ask is that before you select a group, to keep in mind whose perspective you want to know about and the situation that you want to know this other person's take on. Just keep it in mind as you are meditating on the options. And please remember that this is a timeless reading, meaning that at whatever moment in time you happen to watch this video, tune into one of the readings, the messages can still apply to you. That is, of course, if they end up resonating with you. Okay, and with that being said, let us take a closer look at the options. So there are 4 different groups to choose from. Starting off for group 1 is the healer card in the reversal. For group 2 is the card the void. For group 3 is journey. For group 4 is grounded. Please take a moment and meditate on the options. I will turn the healer card in the upright so you can have a better look at the image. And whichever of the 4 you are drawn to the most, then that will be the group with the messages meant for you. Once you have selected a group, please head on over to either the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section down below to find the timestamps that will allow you to skip ahead to your selected group. And if you are ready, then let us get started. Let's go. Hello, if you were drawn to the healer card in the reversal, bienvenidos to your reading. So when meditating on the energy of this group, what came to mind was the message Racia, as well as racing heart or racing heartbeat. Now, since I began your reading, or since I began recording, there has been a lot of interruptions, noise interruptions to be more specific. And when I was meditating on this group's energy, I did notice that I myself became a little impatient and got a little too ahead of myself when channeling the messages. Because as the messages were coming through, I began to assume how they will finish off instead of just allowing for the messages to fully come through. And so someone might be hurrying another along or could tend to cut other people off when they are talking. Or someone could have this habit, this tendency to not let others talk, right? Not let other people finish saying whatever it is that they wanted to say. They could leave other people hanging. They could be someone who always has to have the last word. In other words, they might not be very great listeners. So I'm not sure if you are dealing with someone who tends to be this way, who tends to cut you off, or if the person who you came into this reading thinking about is someone who oftentimes when you do talk to them, you find that neither one of you gets the chance to really speak or say what's on your mind because you both tend to cut each other off, right? You tend to talk over the other. And so there could be a lack of communication between you both, or an inability to slow down, to let another speak, to listen to what another has to say, causes a lot of miscommunication or makes communicating with each other very, very difficult. It makes solving problems together or coming to an understanding between you both very difficult. Yeah, so healer in the reversal is making me think that possibly there might be a need to heal the communication between you and whoever you came into this reading thinking about, or for something between you and whoever you came into this reading thinking about to heal, to improve, there will need to be better communication. And remember, to have good communication with someone, it's not simply about being able to speak, but it's also about being able to listen to another. There needs to be listening on all ends for there to be good, open communication and better understanding as well. Now, the healer card coming through in the reversal also made me think of resistance, right? In the illustration, we have a snake in the midst of shedding their old skin. And so this card showing up in the reversal, it makes me think of blockages, of things slowing down because there is some kind of resistance. The snake cannot shed its skin because there's some interference. And so someone in this situation could be resisting change, because the snake shedding its skin often indicates transformation, change. And this resistance to change could be causing some kind of conflict, could be causing some blockages in a connection, in a relationship, or in a situation. Or what else I'm sensing is someone might not be wanting to change. Like someone might not be wanting to see how their behaviors, how their tendencies might be negatively affecting a situation, maybe their relationships, maybe their relationship or connection with you. Someone's stubbornness, in other words, could be getting in the way of there being solutions or there being growth or improvement in a situation or within a relationship, within a connection. Yeah, I just thought of the word immaturity. So someone here could be acting a bit immature, or the word immaturity could simply be hinting at that someone is resisting change. They're sticking to their old ways, their old habits, their own tendencies that might not be serving them in the best of ways. Okay, so that is what is coming through. By the way, snakes could be of significance. I just thought of a tattoo. Maybe someone has a tattoo of a snake, or they could have tattoos. Also, someone here could have been born in the year of the snake, and if so, this could be serving as a confirmation. Wreaths could also be of significance. I thought of like archways covered in flowers. Yeah, that just came to mind out of the blue. So that could be an important symbol or sign for some of you guys. The color green also seems to be of significance because it's really popping out. So your favorite color or someone's favorite color could be green, but the color green is often associated with the heart chakra, the heart space, which is the energy center that deals with compassion, with empathy, also with sincerity. Yeah, I feel like someone here might need to open up, or a resistance to open up, to be vulnerable, to see from another's point of view, maybe could be causing some kind of friction or could be creating some blockages within a situation. But I'm going to set this card aside. I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to start drawing out the cards. So the first set of cards that I'm going to draw out will give us an objective viewpoint, an objective perspective on the situation, just to know what we're dealing with here, and also to give you an opportunity to decide if this is the reading for you. Because if what comes through in this part of the reading doesn't really resonate with you, right, it's not the situation you came into this reading wondering about, or it's not even something that you're currently dealing with, then that could be a sign that this reading is not for you. So if you would like to select another group, then you are welcome to do so. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, so let me try again, because these cards tend to stick together, so oftentimes a lot of cards fall out or jump out of the deck at once. Okay, so your first card is the Eight of Cups. The second card is the Nine of Swords in the reversal. Okay. And the third and last card is the Moon card in the reversal. Okay, so 2 reversals. The Eight of Cups often indicates walking away, moving on, letting go. It's also a card that can indicate a need or someone's need or desire to seek the truth. Now, the Moon card, when it is in the reversal, can indicate an unveiling of secrets. It can indicate the truth coming out. Because when the Moon shows up in the upright, it often indicates hidden truths, mystery. And the Nine of Swords in the reversal can also indicate clarity, right? Because when this card shows up in the upright, it often indicates anxiety due to a lack of clarity, a lack of understanding. So what I'm seeing based on the cards is someone has decided to walk away from a situation. Someone has decided to move on. And either this decision or this act of moving on is confusing another, has left another in a daze, or the person who has decided to move on could be experiencing a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of regret. Because the Nine of Swords and the Moon showing up in the reversal gives me this lingering feeling. Yes, the Moon card in the reversal can indicate clarity, but at the same time, this card showing up in the reversal can sometimes indicate a blocked intuition, or how it's coming through based on the spread is more of a feeling, like someone feeling as if their intuition is blocked or as if they cannot connect with their intuition. So I'm sensing a little bit of wavering happening here, where someone might be doubting whether they have made the right decision, whether walking away, moving on was the right decision. They could be losing a little bit of sleep, or it could be at night when they feel the most hesitant, or it's when doubt starts creeping in. But if this resonates with you, if this is your case, this is coming through as something that was expected, because it is quite normal. It tends to happen, especially when someone is detaching emotionally or is deciding to leave something that they were attached to for a really long time, right? Or they invested a lot of their time, a lot of their energy into. I keep thinking of something sticky like gum, right? You stick gum to a surface, and then when you want to remove it, there's some elasticity, right? There's some pull. You need a little bit of force to completely remove it from the surface, but it can be done, right? And so this feels like the pull, the stretch, these lingering feelings, this doubt, this hesitancy is the process of detaching. It comes with the whole process of letting go, of possibly withdrawing or moving on. So, this one's quite interesting. If this is resonating with you, if, for example, you have decided to walk away from a situation or walk away from another, and you're having some doubts, I wonder if this doubt, this hesitancy is leading you to wonder about the other person you've decided to move on from, right? Because the Nine of Swords in the reversal is making me think of someone who is probably staying up late at night thinking about the other person, thinking about how they're doing, maybe wondering what is it that they are thinking, how are they dealing with the situation. Maybe if this is about a separation, someone here, you could be wondering how another is dealing with the whole separation. The word divorce came to mind, so I wonder if some of you are going through a divorce. Or the Eight of Cups now just made me think of someone who might be inquiring about another person's next steps. Like, now that we have gone our separate ways, what is the other person thinking about doing? Or I wonder if some of you are in a no contact situation, and that's why you are wanting to know about the other person who you are in a no contact situation with. Because you being in no contact with them, you don't know what they're up to. And maybe you're wondering, you're curious to know what they are up to. What their next move will be is also what is coming through. Okay, so to reiterate, to summarize, someone here could be wondering what was the reason or the motive for another person's decision to walk away or to move on. Or someone here could be wanting some kind of clarity after someone in their life has decided to walk away, to move on. Or someone who has decided to walk away or move on from another could be wondering right now how the other who they decided to walk away from is doing, what they're up to, like what their opinion about this whole situation, maybe about a separation, is. Or they could simply be wondering how is it that they are faring. So if I have tapped into the energy of your situation, then stick around because we are now going to get a look at the perspective, what the perspective of the other person is. And we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, I'm going to take this Page of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so I find it very interesting how this Knight is looking back, right? Because the card right above the Knight of Wands is the Eight of Cups, and the person in the Eight of Cups is not looking back. So this person who you are inquiring about, they seem to be going along with something, because I sense this person has made a decision, but at the same time, it's as if they haven't really made a decision yet. The Three of Pentacles makes me think of someone who is waiting. Either this person is waiting for things to unfold, or it's as if they're just letting things happen. And so right now, they're either going through the motions or they're going about their same routine, is what is coming through, trying not to be affected by the situation or trying to kind of like detach from it. I'm not really picking up on any strong emotions. This energy feels very like youthful or just younger than you, because it doesn't feel quite mature. It feels like that of someone who is growing up, someone who has yet to gain clarity about what it is that they want, or how they want to move forward. I keep looking at the Knight of Wands, and what I hear in my head is, oh, so we're really doing this? Okay, I guess we're really doing this. And it's like this Knight of Wands is looking at this person in the Eight of Cups, and they're thinking to themselves, whoa, they're really doing this. Like, look at them go. They're really serious about this. They mean it. So I wonder if this person is someone who is a bit detached, emotionally detached, if this is someone who might have been the one to announce that they were leaving first, because the Knight of Wands can be, or is known to be, very flighty. And then because we have the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands, two characters that are very adventurous, I wonder if this person was the one who kind of distanced themselves first, or who wasn't really present. This person could have brought up this desire to go their own way. But then once things were set into motion, once maybe you decided to start distancing yourself from this person, or maybe set into motion a divorce, or start paving your own path, that's when this person could have kind of done a double take, kind of pulled the reins of their horse to wonder, whoa, we're really doing this? We're really going our separate ways? They're really leaving me? That's how they could have seen it or perceived it, as you possibly leaving, when in actuality it could have been this person that initiated the whole maybe separation, going your separate ways, or thinking about going your separate ways. But I do feel like this person could be right now in a bit of a limbo, because I don't really sense them moving forward, although it feels like they are just continuing on with their life like they normally would without you being in the picture. Because I do feel like there is some kind of separation here. I do sense that you and this person could be in a no contact situation, or you have already kind of started your own life separate from this person, or you're kind of moving in that direction. Because I sense this person is at a distance, or they're right now trying to figure out their own stuff. And so they could be waiting right now for something to kick off or kickstart in their life. But I will say, I don't sense that they're very affected by this situation. Not emotionally. We don't have any cups here. It's all fire and earth. So this person feels a little detached. I'm not sure if this is someone who is a bit emotionally detached, who doesn't express themselves as much, or who struggles to get in touch with their feelings, with their emotions. So this could be a situation where maybe the separation hasn't hit them yet, if this is about a separation, because I feel like this person hasn't really taken the time to digest what has transpired. They're still kind of, as mentioned, in a daze. They're still kind of like assimilating the fact that you have gone your separate ways, or that now they have to deal with their own stuff on their own, maybe, or now they have to take responsibility for their own life. I thought of someone kind of considering the fact that now they have to be like responsible for paying their own bills, or they have to be responsible for themselves. Um, yeah, and that's all just sinking in. It's like it's barely sinking in for them. Yeah, again, this makes me think of like a young person who has decided to go out on their own. And now that they're out on their own, it's sinking in that they have to take care of so many things. Like, they have to find somewhere to live, they have to pay their own rent. They're like figuring out the whole adulting. This also makes me think of someone who was in a relationship for a long time, and now that they're single again, they're kind of getting reacquainted with that single life, right? Or this is making me think of someone who maybe was very dependent on a partner, and now that this partner is no longer around, they have to learn how to deal with certain stuff on their own, right? Like I keep thinking of bills. Like someone is realizing that now they have to be the ones to pay the bills, or they have to be the one to make calls. They have to be the one to make sure that all the bills get paid, right? That the water is running, that there is electricity, that the milk in the fridge isn't spoiled, right? And that's what they're mostly focusing on. It's dealing with that fact, because the Three of Pentacles makes me think of someone who is a bit like frustrated or feeling a bit inconvenienced by a situation. So this could be someone who is just right now trying to figure out how to be independent, how to fend for themselves, how to look after themselves, how to be responsible, how to be an adult is also what is coming through. I know this was meant to give us the perspective of the other person, but I'm mostly picking up on what they are currently going through, what they are currently dealing with. I know that you came into this reading with the purpose of knowing what the perspective of this person was on this matter, on this situation. Yet I do feel called to ask whether this is something that you truly want to know. Because the reason why I feel I'm not being given much on their perspective is because you're being protected from it, right? It's sort of as if universe is saying it's not really necessary, nor it will help you in any way to know this person's perspective. Especially if you're healing, if right now you are healing or trying to heal wounds that came about from being in a relationship with this person. because I get a very nonchalant vibe from this individual. It's as if they are either unaffected emotionally by this, or that's how they want to come off, or I wonder if the reason why I'm picking up on a nonchalant vibe from them is because this person does tend to maybe just focus more on themselves and how they will be affected by something, how their reality will be affected by somebody else's decision. Because again, with the Three of Pentacles, all that I'm picking up on is inconvenience. Like this person feels inconvenienced by something, or they see something as an inconvenience. Like, ugh, now I have to deal with this, or now I have to look into that, now I have to address that. And it's such a chore. That's the vibe I get from the Three of Pentacles. And with the Page of Wands, okay, only take that which resonates, right? But I wonder if this is someone who could at times be mean or careless with their words, or oftentimes didn't really have a lot of nice things to say in general or about others. Because if that is the case, then that's why I feel like universe is not really allowing for me to see or tap into this person's perspective, because they're saying that kind of energy, you don't need it. You're healing from it, possibly. You're distancing yourself from it. You're detaching from it. And so you don't need it brought back into your life, even through a reading. And so, if one of the reasons why you decided to go your separate way or distance yourself from this person is because you came to the realization that being in a relationship with this person or being in contact with this person was negatively affecting your mental health, your mental well being, or was causing a lot of inner confusion, a lot of inner turmoil, then I sense Spirit is saying, trust in your decision to have walked away. Trust in that. Because if you decided to do this for your well being, if you decided to distance yourself or move on to protect yourself, then your decision to do so came from an inner understanding, from a deep understanding that it was necessary, that this is what you needed to do to protect yourself, to take care of you, and maybe even to start healing, right? Because maybe it was being in this relationship, it was being in contact with this person that was preventing you from growing, maybe, or from healing within, or from feeling better is also what is coming through. Because now that I think about it, the healer card could have showed up in the reversal to indicate that this connection here, if this is about a connection, was really going nowhere, or it couldn't really transcend, is what I heard, or evolve, because maybe this person you're inquiring about was so resistant to change. They didn't want to grow, they didn't want to evolve with you, or they just didn't care to heal themselves, or work on their relationship with you to improve it, to better it, or work on themselves to improve and to better. But I want to draw out one more card. Can we clarify this Three of Pentacles? Yeah, we have the Fool. So I feel like this person right now is kind of focused more on themselves. They're kind of embracing, like, going off on their own. The Fool card is the first, not the number one, but the first major arcana of the deck, and it indicates the beginning of everything. The deck, the tarot deck, often speaks of a journey, and the Fool indicates the beginning of that journey. And so, as mentioned before, I feel like this person has a lot to unveil about themselves. Maybe they have yet to go on a self-discovery journey, but with the Eight of Cups, I feel like you yourselves could be going on or currently be on a self-discovery journey. And maybe if this is about a separation, you walking away from someone, you could have decided to focus on yourself in order to go or start a healing journey, or to get reacquainted with yourself, or to go on a self-discovery journey. But I feel like right now for this person, it's more about their single life. It's more about them just, kind of being on their own and going on their little adventures. and having their own experiences. I mean, they could definitely um, be going on a self discovery journey like you, but for them, it feels more like them recapturing their singlehood, having physical experiences, having 3D experiences rather than going within, right? Rather than getting reacquainted with their inner being. And the Fool can often indicate a very childlike energy. So, as mentioned before, I feel like this person, they could be a bit childlike. They're still, I keep thinking of Peter Pan. So, I think there's something called the Peter Pan syndrome. Oh, there is such a thing as the Peter Pan syndrome. So, that is what came through. I'm just gonna leave it out there. But I do get this feeling that this person has a lot to grow still. They have yet to learn how to take accountability for their own actions, for their own decisions. They have yet to learn how to be a little bit more responsible. I feel like maybe that's what's next on their journey, especially with the Three of Pentacles and the Fool card. This makes me think of like someone learning to be financially responsible, or just learning how to, again, how to adult, how to be an adult. Yes, I wonder if this is like a parent child situation, um or if this is about like a partnership, like a business partnership. I wonder if this person who you are inquiring about, they had the habit of like leaving a lot of the responsibilities to you, or if this is about like a romantic partnership, romantic relationship, romantic dynamic, where maybe you felt like the adult in this relationship, like you felt like the one who was pulling most of the weight while this person was just tagging along. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah, if this person's nonchalance hurt you, please know that this had nothing to do with you. I feel like this nonchalance could be some kind of response to something that is going on within this person, something that is going on internally with this person. It's not a response to you. I feel like if it was a decision to like go your separate ways, it did come from a need to be on your own independent journeys, because I feel like for you there is some healing that needs to be done, or maybe you might feel like you do need to focus more on yourself, tend to you, take care of yourself, take care of your mental well-being, um, get reacquainted with your own inner being. And that's why I feel like you're being let know this decision to look after yourself and to go off on your own self-discovery journey, or just focus on your own creating your own life, is not a bad decision. You didn't do anything wrong. I feel like you're on the right path, right? We literally have, out of all the cards, the only card that came out in the upright for the Eight of Cups, and literally in the illustration we have someone on a path. So it seems like you are on the right path currently. And for this person, I feel like there is a need for them to have their own experiences, to get acquainted with themselves, and to learn their own lessons that are separate from you. um, yeah, and I don't know if this person is ready to heal, is ready to, do the inner work, as they say. But whether they are ready for it or not, I feel like that whole journey is something that they have to go through on their own. Yeah, I feel like this person has a lot of lessons to learn that are independent from you. And so, because of this, I feel like it will do this person good to be on their own for a while. Because I'm picking up a little bit of codependency from this person, or I get the energy of someone who tends to leave their responsibilities to others. I'm picking up on a lack of commitment from this person, and also a lack of accountability or responsibility. And I think that because of that, this person is kind of being encouraged to be on their own for a little while, so that they could start becoming more responsible and start taking more and more accountability for their own decisions. Because I feel like they could tend to delegate their responsibilities to others, or let other people deal with their problems instead of them dealing with their own problems. And so yeah, there's this feeling of this person needing to come into their own, um, and kind of like figure out who they are, who they want to be, and that sort of thing. But this is what I am picking up on. I apologize if I didn't give you much of their perspective. That was the plan, that was the intention, but I feel there is a reason, there is a good reason for why we didn't pick up on their perspective. And when it comes to readings, I don't want to force anything. If something isn't coming through, I don't want to just make something up to fill gaps. I trust that if I didn't pick up on their perspective is because Spirit was setting some very strong boundary, a boundary to protect you. But I do want to draw out one last oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance for you. Maybe guidance that will help you through this situation. Okay, so we have identity with ascendant, the key phrase, a star rises in the east, and the message, you are developing a key factor of your identity or personality. This impacts other people, but it is also an affirmation of what is important to you. Allow for a new beginning. Remember, you are unique and find your self-assurance. Yeah, I feel like this is what you are doing. You are finding your self-assurance. You are regaining or reclaiming your self-identity. You are going on a self-discovery journey, or you are getting reacquainted, reconnected with yourself. And this person could be doing so as well. I feel like it's an option that's being laid ahead of them, but I'm not so sure whether this person has chosen that option yet. But I feel like you have. I feel like you are already on that path. And you are the star that's rising in the east. Beautiful. You are also developing key factors in your identity or personality. So this lets me know that you are allowing yourself to evolve, not only transform but evolve. So you're definitely like the snake shedding your old skin, right, and embracing a new version of yourself. Beautiful. You are ascending, and maybe some of you are learning who you are outside of this dynamic with this person, who you are outside of this partnership, this relationship, this connection, who you are when you are not around this person. And you may be learning or maybe discovering that who you are when you're not around this person, or this person's energy, is someone that you adore, is someone that you want to get to know more of, or just get to know more in depth. Yeah, I'm getting an embracing of oneself. By the way, I wanted to add that when I was talking about this person's nonchalance, what I was getting was indifference. Right? Like, I feel like this person can tend to be indifferent to others, or indifferent to the feelings of others, and that could be very hurtful. So if you ever experience that from this person, then again, know this hasn't had nothing to do with you. This has more to do with this person, something that they are going through, something that they maybe need to look within themselves, address, and so forth. And the card identity could also be serving as a suggestion to allow yourself to figure out who you are outside of your relationships, right? Because we often tend to identify with things, we identify with people, we identify with our work, so much so that we start seeing ourselves as that which we identify with. Like, we start seeing ourselves as being our work, our career, being our relationships, being the people who we are in a relationship with. And so if you find that has happened to you, or if that is currently the case, I feel like you're being suggested to give yourself a moment to figure out who you are outside of that which you identify with. And remind yourself that you are your own person, right? It's okay to identify with things, but remember that you are your own person. You are not your work. You are not what you do. You are not a label. You are not your relationship. Your value, your worth does not depend on whether or not you are in a relationship, whether or not someone likes you, whether you are successful or not, or you feel successful in your career, in your line of work, or if you are very popular. Your worth, your value does not depend on that. Your worth, your value is inherent. You get to decide what your worth and your value is. It is you who gets to decide that, not somebody else or not something else. Yeah, and some of you could also be coming to the realization that a conversation doesn't have to lead to a fight. It doesn't have to lead to an argument. It can lead to mutual understanding. A conversation can be had without needing to raise one's voice or without someone raising their voice, or a conversation can be had with you participating in it as well. You can speak up, you can share your opinions, and a conversation can continue. So I feel like you will be experiencing new connections, new relationships that will give you a different perspective, like a different understanding of what a relationship can be. And this new perspective, this new understanding is going to heal something in you. And it's also going to allow for you to see what a healthy connection, what healthy relationships look like, what they can feel like, or what they do feel like. So you are opening up, or you have opened the way for you to have healthier relationships in your life. If you feel like what you have experienced in the past have been unhealthy relationships, have been maybe a lot of drama, or have been connections that make you feel unsafe or make you feel unseen. Right? Because I feel like the connections that you are about to experience, or that will help with you heal, will be connections where you will feel seen. Especially because we have the rising star here. It makes me think of like visibility. So it's time for you to be seen, and especially be seen by you. It's time for you to see your own worth, your value, your beauty. Okay, but this is what is coming through for you guys. Things I want to point out: snakes, horses, canines, the color green, as well as the color orange, red orange could be of significance. The color orange is associated with the sacral chakra, which is the energy center that has to do with passion, creativity, sensuality, sexuality. The color red is associated with the root chakra, which is the energy center that allows us to ground, and it deals with feelings of stability, security. It's also the energy center that deals with fears, right? So you may be releasing or letting go of irrational fears, or you could be healing fear-based wounds, is what I heard. But yeah, I'm noticing a lot of green, red, and orange in your spread. But let's see, anything else? I thought of the zodiac sign Gemini, but with the moon, we have Cancer and Pisces. And then the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands, we have fire signs, which will be Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. So these signs could be of significance. But this is what is coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and a link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much, and I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching, and until the next moment. Bye bye. Hello, if you were drawn to the void, bienvenidos to your reading. So when meditating on the energy of this group, a couple of messages came through, which were working to release, staying true, we are working with you, and change the course. So currently, you or someone in the situation you came into this reading thinking about could be working to release old baggage, or release something that they have decided to move on from or let go of, or I heard in my mind, distance themselves from. And the message staying true makes me think that right now someone is trying to stick to their decision. And it could be their decision to walk away from something, to not look back. Or they are doing their best to stay true to them by committing to what they know and feel in their heart of hearts is right for them or the best for them. Yeah, because change the course, at least to me, it's hinting that someone is changing the course of their life. Or what I'm also picking up on is someone is wanting to stay on their current course, but there could be people around them who are trying to convince them, trying to persuade them to move in a different direction. And that's what they're fighting. Like they're fighting against other people's opinions, or it could even be something like fighting the temptation to listen to other people, to fall into the peer pressure, perhaps. Okay, but looking at the illustration of the card that you were drawn to, I immediately thought of someone wanting to reach out. So someone here could be wanting to reach out to the other, or could be waiting to be reached out to. I also pick up on that someone is in need of counsel, someone is in need of reassurance. I just heard in my mind someone saying or thinking to themselves, I want to do this on my own, or I want to do this for me, but at the same time, I wish I had support from others, or I wish someone would tell me what to do, right? So it could be the situation where someone is following their own intuition, their own instincts. They are making their own decisions, but at the same time, they secretly wish that they could be told what to do, what is the right path, because that would be so much easier. That would take so much of the pressure and the burden that they feel away. Yeah, interesting. So that's what I'm picking up so far. So now I'm going to move on to the tarot. And the first set of cards I will be drawing out are meant to give us an objective perspective on the situation you came into this reading thinking about. So if in this part of the reading you find that the messages aren't really resonating with you, then that may be an indicator that this reading is not for you. So if you feel called to select another group, a group that maybe you were also drawn to, then feel free to do so. Just to see if the messages in that reading do end up resonating with you. Okay, but let us get started. Wait, I actually want to... Okay, there we go. So the first card is the Tower. The second card is the Page of Wands. And the third card is the Empress. So the Tower card can indicate divine intervention, the divine intervening to tear down whatever is no longer working, whatever is keeping someone from growing, from evolving. So this situation could be about an ending, right? Or something having fallen apart. And the Page of Wands is indicating some kind of new beginning or forward movement. Pages are the youngest in the court, and they often represent freshness, newness. So objectively speaking, something has fallen apart and or ended to allow forward movement, to allow growth. Because the Empress is the third card that fell out, and the Empress is all about creation and growth. The number 3 is a number of expansion. So I'm sensing a leveling up, but this leveling up is occurring after an ending, a very drastic, possibly even dramatic ending. Now, the reason the Tower card is so powerful is because it's a catalyst. So if there has been any shakeups in your life, if there has been unexpected drastic changes, then know it is because you are currently going through some kind of wake-up call, or you are going through a major transformation in your life. It's beautiful how we have a butterfly in the Empress cards, because butterflies often symbolize transformation. So if right now there is confusion in your life because what has come to an end, what has drastically and dramatically changed, it's something that you weren't really expecting for it to change, or is something that you have relied on for a while, maybe for a really long time, is something that you have invested a lot of your time and energy into, then No, it is understandable to be experiencing this confusion because as you're going through this tower moment, it might not be so clear as to why this is happening, why this ending came about, or why there is so much upheaval. But know that there is a reason for it. Know that it is because whatever is coming to an end or has been removed from your life possibly was something that, although on the surface it might have looked pristine and good, underneath or at the core it was rotting, or it was hurting you in some way, or it was keeping you stuck. And I shouldn't say you, because I don't know if this is a situation that is impacting you in specific. This could just be the situation that you came into this reading thinking about that could possibly be directly impacting somebody else. So just know that the tower is representing a necessary shakeup, like something that was needed in order to move things along, or in order to help, I heard, in order to help someone escape a dangerous situation or escape stagnation. But remember, the tower is a wake-up call. So oftentimes when this card shows up, it indicates that someone needed to open their eyes to the fact that something was negatively affecting them, or just wasn't working out and was maybe going nowhere. The Tower card often makes me think of the expression or the notion of ripping off the band-aid, right? Because oftentimes this card shows up when someone is having trouble letting go of that which they know they need to let go of. They are having trouble accepting the truth of a situation, or they keep choosing that which is not healthy for them, is hurting them, or keeping them from growing. And that's why this card represents divine intervention, because that's when the divine intervenes to move things along. Now I'm being reminded of like the princess locked up in the tower, and instead of the knight in shining armor coming in to save the princess, it's the divine with their lightning bolt striking down the tower, the beast, to free the princess, right? So this is not meant to hurt you or hurt whoever is experiencing this tower moment. This is actually a gateway. It's an opportunity for a new beginning, and it's an opportunity for progress, for growth. And that's what I'm seeing with the Page of Wands and the Empress. These two cards make me think of someone reclaiming their freedom, their sovereignty, someone reminding themselves that they do have the power to choose and that there are better options out there, right? Or that they do deserve better. Maybe they deserve more. The Empress also makes me think of someone who is coming into their own, or who is rediscovering themselves, reconnecting with themselves, with their inner being. The Page of Wands makes me think of travel. It makes me think of relocating. So someone here could be traveling, relocating, physically moving, or what else is coming through with the Page of Wands is moving on. Someone could be moving on from something that they kept on choosing over and over again, or was a constant in their life, but again, maybe wasn't serving them or no longer is serving them. And seeing the Page of Wands and the Empress, it makes me think of someone moving onto bigger and greener pastures. I also see a situation where someone could be now contemplating working on new projects, taking on new and different projects, or considering new job, new career opportunities. So someone could have gone through a major career shift or change, or is currently going through that. Yeah, but I'm definitely seeing that after a period of confusion, maybe of disappointment or just hurt while experiencing an unexpected change, there will be optimism. There will be a looking forward to the future. There will be reinvigoration, because the Page of Wands is very adventurous, active, energetic, optimistic, and cheerful. And the Page of Wands also often indicates good news. So yeah, I see someone being very optimistic about their prospects, their future, or about life after experiencing a tower moment. And then the Empress is a very powerful card to get because it indicates someone being in their creative era, right? Someone feeling very empowered and beautiful, possibly even sensual, and capable of achieving their dreams, capable of making things happen for them, and of creating not only beautiful things, but beautiful experiences. The Empress makes me think of someone who is one with the universe. And so they are working with the universe. Oh, which is reminding you of the message that came through at the beginning. We are working with you, and that could be a message coming from maybe your spirit team, your spirit guides, ancestors who are on the other side, beings of light, the universe, the divine, whoever it is that you connect with, letting you know that yes, in the future or currently, they are working with you and you are working with them to create the kind of reality you want to experience. So this is what I'm seeing. So now I'm going to start drawing out cards to find out what is the perspective of the other person you came into this reading thinking about. What is their take on this situation? Okay, so this card fell out, which is the Two of Pentacles. This card didn't fall out, but it flipped over, and it's the Hanged Man. And then we have the King of Swords. I feel called to set them like this. The Hanged Man is associated with the zodiac sign Pisces. The Empress card is associated with the zodiac sign, I believe, Libra and Taurus. And the King of Swords is associated with Aquarius. So these could be important signs or seasons. So the Hangman can often indicate a new perspective or a need to obtain a new perspective, which is interesting because we're getting the perspective of another person in this reading. But okay, I'm getting two different interpretations. One is this person could feel like whoever else is involved in the situation needs to get a new and different perspective on the situation, or they would benefit from doing so. Maybe they feel that right now they're looking at things from a very pessimistic angle, or they are not seeing the opportunities, seeing how this could benefit them, or how this maybe is an opportunity for a new beginning, or it could be. I keep wanting to change these from their positions, but it's because I feel like someone, or this person more like, is going back and forth on whether or not they should reach out to somebody else, whether or not they should offer their 2 cents on this situation. For example, if this person believes somebody else would benefit from a different perspective, maybe they're thinking that they could be the ones to offer this new perspective on this current situation. But they're currently going back and forth on whether it's okay for them to do so, whether they're allowed to do so, or whether it's very presumptuous of them to believe that someone would benefit from their perspectives, from them offering their 2 cents. And so they're kind of hesitant. This person could also be debating on whether it's the right time. Right? Maybe they're thinking it's too soon to approach someone, too soon to talk about something, or too soon to offer like a different perspective, maybe. Yeah, so I'm sensing hesitancy from somebody in this situation, especially because we have the King of Swords here. Because the King of Swords can be a bit intimidating at times. So this person could be viewing another person who is part of this situation as the King of Swords. They could be feeling like the King of Swords maybe right now isn't ready to talk, or, the King of Swords can sometimes represent aggression. And so this person might be feeling that if they were to approach this King of Swords might lash out, or they might shut them down is the other thing that I'm seeing, or judge them. Yeah, because the vibe I get from the King of Swords is, I'm not ready to talk. Or the other vibe I'm getting from them is, come on, I dare you to approach me. Yeah, so this person who I'm looking into their perspective could be giving somebody else, someone who they see as the King of Swords, their space to work something out themselves, or the space that this person feels this King of Swords needs. The other situation I'm seeing is, which is similar to the one I just described, is this person could be wanting to approach a King of Swords figure, like an authoritative figure, someone who has the last word in the situation, or someone who often makes executive decisions. But they could be, again, going back and forth on whether or not they should. Yeah, and it could be because they are intimidated by this King of Swords, but what I'm also picking up on is this person could fear or feel that their chances are over. Their chances to appeal or to ask for anything from the King of Swords, or to share their perspective on a situation or plead their case is also what I heard, are over. I keep looking at these two coins, the Two of Pentacles person is juggling, and it makes me think of, coins you use for a machine slot. Like, they no longer have any more coins, or maybe they just have two more coins, two more chances, two more opportunities, and they're really debating on whether to use them right now, right? They could possibly be waiting for the right time because they don't want these two chances, these last two coins, to go to waste. Yeah, so this person, again, could be waiting for the right time, or they could be feeling like if they were to approach this King of Swords, it would be like overstepping in some kind of way, because they feel that they already lost their chance. So trying again would be doing too much. At least that's what I heard in my mind. I keep thinking of the word overstepped. So I wonder if this person who I'm picking up on their perspective has overstepped in some kind of way. I also thought of making a mistake. Yeah, again, I'm thinking of chances. It's like the King of Swords gave this person, like, let's say 3 chances, 3 opportunities. And this person who I'm picking up on the perspective has already used up those 3 chances. And so that's it. No more chances. So if you are identifying with this King of Swords, if you feel like you're the one who gave somebody several chances and they used them all up, and you've decided enough is enough, no more chances for this person, then know that this person has gotten the message. If you haven't told them explicitly, like, hey, that's it, no more, then you have made it clear through your actions that you're not going to be giving this person any more chances, or that you're not going to be swayed by whatever it is that they're planning to say to you, because they feel that. It's very palpable. So it could be your energy, your aura, your vibe, or it could just be the situation itself. Maybe they did something that it's clear, like, that's it. Like, we can grow from this and move past it individually, but as a duo, as a couple, as a partnership, we cannot. Like, because this has either destroyed the trust between us, or it has completely destroyed whatever it is that we were working on together. And so there's no moving past this, there's only moving on from this, respectively, individually. But if, let's say, you are resonating with being this King of Swords energy, and you are considering giving this person another chance, you are wanting to hear this person out, you are wanting to maybe reconcile with this person, work things out with this person, then the suggestion would be to make it clear to this person that those are your intentions, because right now, currently, this person might be feeling like you don't want to work things out with them. So if that's not the case, then if you haven't talked with this person, if you haven't given this person an opening to talk with you, consider, creating that opening, or letting this person know, like, hey, yeah, I want to talk, let's see if we can work things out. Because if not, this person might end up just moving on, or just going back and forth, continue going back and forth on whether to approach you or not. Or how they do end up approaching you might be with a lot of hesitation, trepidation. Or you might end up waiting a while for this person to approach you, because again, I feel like this person could be waiting for the right time, like the right timing. And who knows when that will be, when they will sense it's the right time. So just something to keep in mind. But if, for example, you're the one who's going through a difficult time, if something in your life has abruptly come to an end, and you're dealing with the whole confusion of this, if you are mourning, if you're grieving, if you find yourselves feeling very angry and upset about the whole situation, I do sense that this person here is keeping an eye on you to make sure that you are okay. They're checking in on you in their own way. I say that because I feel like the way that they are doing so is in a very subtle way, because as mentioned, I feel like this person is giving, this King of Swords their space. And I feel like a lot of you're coming through as this King of Swords who might have recently experienced a Tower moment, right? And so if at any point there is someone who tries to approach you, or this person more specifically tries to approach you, tries to talk with you, or maybe get you to open up, it's not because this person is trying to get all up on your business. Rather, it is because they are wanting to kind of let you know, hey, you're not alone, or just provide you some kind of reassurance. They are here to, again, maybe offer you a different perspective on a situation, because maybe they themselves have gone through something very similar that you are currently experiencing. If you have recently experienced some kind of Tower moment in your life. And if they got themselves through this Tower moment, they want to let you know, like, hey, you will get yourself through this Tower moment as well. Right. So if this resonates with you, just know that this person, they do want to approach you. They do want to reach out to you. But maybe right now they might feel like you're not ready to open up. Or what I'm also sensing is they could feel like you might be pushing them away. Or again, like you might just need your space. So if you are wanting to talk things out, if you are wanting to be reached out to, just know that this person is there for you, right? They don't want to tell you, I told you so, because I feel like some of you might think that. No, they simply want to be there for you, and they want to kind of show you, I heard like show you the silver lining in a situation, or just extend to you a lending hand, a supportive hand. I feel like this hand is representing them. Like that's what they want to do. They want to reach out to you, and provide some kind of silver lining. And I'm being reminded of what I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, which was someone here could be doing their hardest to not be persuaded by other people's opinions, right? Because maybe they have already chosen a course and they don't want to be peer pressured into choosing another course that isn't the one that they have chosen. And wow, this is a very interesting reading, because I'm sensing so many, or picking up on so many different situations. It's like the foundation of this is pretty much the same, but how it looks, like the intricacies of it are very, very different. Because for one situation, I'm sensing that someone has made up their mind to, again, not give somebody another chance, because they already have given this person so many chances and they have dropped the ball every time. And so they've decided enough is enough, and they don't want to be tempted to fall back into the same old and give this person another chance to just be disappointed again. No, they're ready, wanting and willing to move on, and that's what they want to do. And so if that resonates more with you, I feel like you have every reason to stay true to you and stick with your decision, because this decision is allowing growth. It is allowing for you to give way to a new beginning that is, the way I see it, a lot healthier and a lot more conducive to your growth. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you what you decide to do. But just know that if it is the case that you've decided to move on from something because you realize that that's the healthiest thing to do, or that is what is best for you, or just best in general, then I feel like you're being advised to stick to your decision. Now, the other situation I'm seeing is, if it's the case that you are going through a rough patch right now, right? If you have experienced a Tower moment and because of it, you are experiencing a lot of confusion, you are finding it difficult to see the silver lining in a situation, you feel like this is it, this is the end, nothing will ever feel better or get better, and you're kind of in that mindset, a bit of a pessimistic mindset, then I sense that you are being advised to be a little bit flexible and allow for a new perspective, right? And if this person who I'm picking their perspective on is willing to offer you this perspective that might help you see how there is a silver lining to this situation, how there is an end to maybe this dark tunnel if you feel like you're in a dark tunnel right now, and that there is a light at the end of this dark tunnel, then you're being kind of advised to allow that energy, to allow that influence into your life, because it's not here to negatively influence you. It's here to simply show you another way. It's not here to force you to move in a certain direction, but rather to offer you a different option, an alternative, a different perspective, to show you, hey, look, all of the gates are enclosed. There are some gates that are still open. There are still some paths, some roads that are open for you to take if you want to take them. Now, the other situation I'm seeing is this person could be sensing that someone who has experienced an ending, or someone who has an opportunity to move on, to move forward, to try something new, is still considering sticking with the old, is still considering holding on to the past, or they are having trouble letting go of the past, letting go of the old to fully embrace the new. Right? They could still be in this in-between space where they're not fully committing to the new. It makes me think of a border, right? Like they have one foot in one place and one foot in the other place. And so they're a bit divided. And I feel like this person who I'm picking up on their perspective, is giving this other person who they see kind of being indecisive or just going back and forth, their space. They're letting them figure things out on their own. They could at time want to come in and offer their opinion, their perspective, but I feel like at the end, they are just letting this person decide for themselves, because they might feel like that's what would be best for this person, or that's what this person needs. Like this person needs to make their own decisions, decide for themselves what is for them and what isn't. They might have their own opinions. They definitely do. It's not that they might. They definitely do have their own opinions about this situation, but I feel like they're not voicing them as much as they would want to. They could offer them to you if you ask for it from them, or they could offer it to you, I heard, spontaneously or through an outburst. Or maybe they have already, like if you have experienced an outburst from this person, like if this is someone that you talk to, if you confide in this person, maybe when you were confiding your indecision, your hesitation to move on from something, to choose something else, to stick with one thing, they could have been listening to you the whole time without offering their 2 cents, but then they could have reached some kind of point where they couldn't just sit there and listen any longer. They had to say something, and that's when they had their outburst. They could have told you, well, this is what I believe in, or this is what is plain to see to me. Yeah, and that could have been a bit shocking, maybe. But if that ended up being the case, I feel like after this outburst, or after they shared with you their opinion, they kind of reeled back a little bit. It's not that they backpedaled on their opinion, but it's more like they pulled back their energy to allow you the space to just make up your mind. Like, now that you know how I really think about this, not necessarily feel, but think about it, because the King of Swords is very analytical. It's all about the mind. This is not a king that really delves in emotions or feelings. It's more the mind, thought process. And so their perspective on a situation is, now that you know what I think about this, now that you know my analysis on the whole situation, I'm just going to let you make up your own mind. Yeah, so if you felt like this person retreated, it's not because they're, let's say, upset with you or they no longer care. It's because they're giving you your space. They're allowing for you to decide and choose for yourself, because they do respect you. But I do feel like this is someone who will constantly remind you of your worth. They will constantly remind you that you deserve the very best. Yeah, so I don't feel like this is someone who will leave you in the dark, or who will leave you to struggle with something that is too heavy, too difficult in the moment. They will be there, but as mentioned before, if they see that you need your space, they will give it to you. But if they ever do feel the need to speak up about something, I don't feel like this person can restrain themselves. They will voice it, but for the most part, they will let you be. Yeah, because, okay, what I'm hearing from this person, from this specific situation is, I don't want this is coming from this person, right? The person whose perspective I'm picking up on. Their way of thinking is, I don't want for the other person to ever feel or believe that I made up their mind for them, or that they were pressured to do something that they didn't want to do. Which is why I'm here to offer a different perspective if they want it, but I'm not going to make the decision for them. Right? I feel like that's their perspective on the situation. So maybe this could be about accountability, someone allowing the other to be accountable for their decisions and take responsibility for making their own decisions. The last situation I'm seeing here is this person, they're having a hard time making decisions. And it's not because they don't know what decisions to make, but rather because the decisions that they are making are difficult. Like, they're not easy decisions to make. They're not easy calls to make. Yeah, the King of Swords is making me think of someone who has a lot of responsibility. It makes me think of someone who makes executive decisions, which, making executive decisions is not an easy thing. And so this person feels a lot of responsibility. And so if you are dealing with a situation where you're wondering whether someone of authority is just making decisions willy-nilly, right, or doesn't care about how their decisions will affect others, know that that's not the case. They are not making their decisions willy-nilly. They're really taking the time to think through it all. And they're, as mentioned, they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time making the decisions that they are making because to them it's not easy. They could feel some guilt, or they do, or it's just really hard for them to maybe choose if they're choosing between two choices. Yeah, I feel like this person, like this energy more like wants you to know, my decision was made after a lot of consideration. I didn't just wake up one day and decide I'm going to do this. No, I spent days and nights ruminating and thinking about this. I spent days weighing out the pros and cons, weighing out my options. And so just know that whatever decision I came to is one that I spent hours, maybe days, coming to. And that's the reason why I feel that whatever this person has decided, whatever they have chosen, it's something that they are sticking with because they have already thought long and hard about this. And so they don't need to think about it anymore because they already did all the thinking. And so if you're wondering whether like somebody, especially someone who is like an authoritative figure, I keep thinking of like a supervisor, a manager, a boss, or someone who makes executive decisions, someone who has the last word in a situation and their word or their decision becomes official. If you're wondering whether they will be changing their mind or they are thinking about changing their mind once they've given their verdict, the answer is no. I don't think so. Not this person in specific. Right? If there are other people involved, or if this is a situation where other people can get involved and like allow for a reevaluation, then there could be a reevaluation. But I feel like this person in specific, what they've decided on is what they will stick with. Because as mentioned, they have already thought long and hard about this. Seeing the King of Swords in the Tower card, I wonder if for some this has to do with a divorce, right? Or a separation. But, that doesn't have to be the situation or the case for everybody. But this is what is coming through. So now I'm going to draw out an extra oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. Okay, so we have fascination or anxiety with Virgo and emotion, and the key phrase, a woodpecker bores through tree bark. And the message, your capacity to drill into the details may be resulting in an exciting and energizing feeling of fascination, or it may be causing you to overthink things and feel anxious. If the latter is the case, it might be helpful to broaden your perspective. I was going on and on about, how for some it would be helpful to get a new perspective on a situation, to broaden your perspective. Yeah, so if you currently or have recently experienced a tower moment and you're finding it difficult to see things from an optimistic or positive perspective, right? Or you're feeling very anxious about this whole situation, which if you are, it's understandable. Tower moments are usually not easy to experience or to go through. Just know that there is somebody, right? This person whose energy I picked up on, whose perspective I picked up on, who is willing to offer you a new and different perspective, a perspective that will help you feel less anxious or feel reassured that things will end up working out for you, or help you see how you can turn around this situation for the better, or how it is a turning point for you for the better. Like this tower moment in itself is a turning point for the better. And if you find yourself looking to the past a lot and kind of analyzing the past, trying to break it down and dissect it to understand like what went wrong, or what could have gone better, although that's helpful sometimes, especially when we want to learn lessons, it's not very helpful if we get hyper fixated on trying to decipher what we could have done better, because it oftentimes incites this feeling of powerlessness, because we can no longer go back and change the past, right? And so if you find yourself kind of replaying a situation over and over in your head, trying to figure out what you could have done different to experience a different outcome, maybe consider redirecting your focus. Instead of focusing on the past, focus on the here and now and seeing how you can work with the here and now to create something that will help you move forward, or focus on the future, what you will be creating in the future, the possibilities of the future. And if at first it's hard, it's understandable, because sometimes our mind locks in. And so we have to put in extra effort to kind of unlock the mind to get it looking in a new direction. I all of a sudden thought of a camera, like a very heavy camera that when you try to turn it, it does take a lot of effort. And so think of it that way, like your mind is a camera, and sometimes it requires a little bit of effort to move it in a new direction so that you can pick up on a different scene, a different point of view. So if you find that it's a little bit hard at first to focus on something else, don't take that as a sign that it's impossible. Instead, just remember the mind sometimes needs a little push to get it thinking in a new way. The mind can be stubborn sometimes, but it doesn't mean that it's inflexible. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up on. Anything else? The zodiac sign Virgo could be of significance. I know the Empress card is associated with Taurus and Libra, but I saw Virgo, and then I looked at the Empress card and I sensed or picked up on strong Virgo energy. Like the Empress is representing the zodiac sign Virgo. So Virgo season could be of significance, or someone here could be a Virgo sun, moon, or rising sign. Especially rising sign is what came through. Yeah, and I felt very like empowered or like infused with energy and fortitude when I spoke of Virgo. So if you don't already do, you will feel empowered, and you will feel ready to take on the world, ready to take on new projects, ready to maybe build and create something of your own, something from the ground up, something that is more in alignment with what you truly believe in and want to build upon, right? Or this is the energy I am picking up for someone in this situation. I definitely see someone getting back on their feet and building or creating a new life for themselves, or just moving forward. Woodpeckers, or I heard red tinted birds, and like birds who have like some red plumage, like a red spot somewhere in their body could be of significance. You could be working with the phases of the moon, or you could be advised to do so. Like, for example, some people during the new moon, they tend to manifest, and during the full moon, they tend to do some kind of like energy cleansing, cleaning, or detox. So working with the phases of the moon could be of help to you, especially if you do want to cleanse your energy, or if you do want to manifest, or kind of reprogram your mind is also what is coming through. Open your mind to new possibilities. Blue roses, blue thorns could be of significance, or the color blue and red, and yellow. The color yellow is often associated with the solar plexus chakra, which is the energy center that has to do with confidence, self-esteem, and one's identity. So you are, or someone here will soon be regaining their confidence, or they will experience a boost in their self-esteem. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website. And the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 3, the journey card, bienvenidos to your reading. Oh, before I get started, if you happen to pick up on a rustling or churning sound, that is my mini fan. I have it on because it is super hot where I'm currently located and I do not have any AC. So this mini fan is the only thing I have to keep from melting. Yeah, so I apologize for the background noise if it ends up being a bit distracting. But anyways, let's get back to your reading. So in meditating on the energy of this group, the expression, or more like line, when in doubt, pinky out, came to mind. And I say line because this is a line from the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants. If you are familiar with SpongeBob, if you've seen that one episode, then this could be serving as a confirmation that there are messages meant for you in this group, or that episode in itself could be of significance. Oh, which now that I think of it, it's an episode that taught us, or taught me, to not force yourself to be someone that you are not simply to please others or to fit in, because it could be dangerous. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe the lesson in that episode could be a lesson some of you are learning at this moment, or someone is learning at this moment. But apart from this, if I were to just consider the card that you were drawn to, some of you could currently be on the journey to finding a home, somewhere to settle down in, maybe finding your forever home, or you could currently be relocating or preparing to move, physically move, or you could be settling down somewhere new. But I am picking up on a bit of uncertainty. The tent kind of gives me that vibe. Maybe someone here is feeling a bit ungrounded because they are lacking security in their life. They are lacking some certainty. So if the situation you came into this reading thinking about is creating a lot of uncertainty in your life, or is a situation that doesn't have a set answer, it's kind of up in the air still, then definitely stick around, because I feel the messages that come through in this specific reading are meant for you. But apart from this, I also feel that some of you could currently be on a self-discovery journey, or are currently figuring out what your next steps will be. There's something about tuning, like tuning into a certain frequency. So if you resonate with the whole energy frequency thing and you are on some kind of spiritual journey per se, then you could be currently tuning into a new frequency, going through a spiritual energetic transformation or adjustment is what I heard. But for others of you, if it's not about tuning into a frequency per se, then your mind could be, or your subconscious could be going through some reprogramming. I sense that some of you are kind of deciding whether you are aware of it or not, because I feel like this could be happening on a subconscious level. But I do feel that regardless if it's currently happening on a subconscious level or not, at some point you will have to become aware. Like, you will have to make a conscious decision about what to align with, like what ideas, beliefs, values you will be adhering to from here onwards, or from here until your next checkpoint, until the next time that you go through another spiritual awakening, or you have to like reevaluate your values and such. Yeah, so there could be some inner conflict right now, some inner turmoil for some of you. Again, this feeling of uncertainty because you're in the midst of deciding what to follow, what to adhere to, or where to land is also what is coming through. Because I feel like for some of you, it's not just about a subconscious reprogramming, a spiritual transformation, or energetic adjustment. It's also you experiencing changes in your life where currently you might be in between two places, right? You might be figuring out where you're going to settle down in next, or where you're going to live, or with who, or for how long, or what's the next place you're going to work in, or what project you will be taking on next. Things are not really set in stone. Things are a bit up in the air. But yeah, I'm going to set this card aside and I'm going to start working with the tarot. And the first set of cards I will be drawing out will give us an objective perspective on the situation that you came into this reading thinking about. So if you find that you're not really resonating with this part of the reading, or what comes through isn't your situation or any situation that you're currently dealing with, then that could be an indicator that the messages in this reading are not meant for you. And so if you feel called to do so, you can select another group, especially if you were drawn to another group, to see if the messages resonate with you there. Okay, but let us begin. I heard self-discovery journey. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that, but it just popped up into my mind. Self-discovery journey. Okay, these are way too many cards. I'm going to try again. I apologize for that, but these cards tend to stick together. So sometimes when I'm shuffling, a lot of cards jump out at the same time. Okay, so your first card is the King of Swords. This illustration always reminds me of a Game of Thrones because of the throne. What I heard in my mind is a throne of glass. When trying to remember what the name of the throne that everybody is fighting for in a Game of Thrones is called. But a throne of glass, I believe, is the title of like a book series or something like that. Yeah, so I don't know if some of you have read that series or are familiar with it. If so, that could be serving as some kind of confirmation. But the name of the throne I was thinking about is the Iron Throne. Okay, let me continue. So there's a lot of references coming through in this reading. So I wonder if you really enjoy watching shows, series, animated series, drama series, if you love reading books. But your next card is Knight of Swords. And okay, two cards fell out together. I'm going to take them, and we have the Page of Pentacles with the Hierophant in the reversal. Okay, so are some of you students and you are currently preparing to or planning to transfer? That's the first thing that came to mind when I looked at the Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles in the reversal. Yeah, because all of these cards actually make me think of academics, academia, school, or learning. The King of Swords is one of the most intelligent, analytical, strategic kings of the deck. And the Hierophant, when it is in the upright, often represents higher learning, institutions like colleges, universities. And the Page of Pentacles, when it is in the upright, represents a very grounded young person, someone with goals and aspirations, as well as excellent prospects. So I feel that someone here is ready to jump into something new, ready to take action, ready to begin. They have already made up their mind that they do want to proceed with something or that they want to see something through. But with the Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles, there could be some delays, there could be some holdups, and these delays could be due to practical matters. So, for example, someone has decided that they want to start a business of their own, they're ready to kickstart their business, but there is an issue. There is a lack of funds, right? Or they need the approval of, I don't know, of the city to be able to open up a physical business, a store. Or they need to get some paperwork done. The Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles and the reversal makes me think of bureaucracy, right? So it's like, I want to do this, but first I have to get the approval of so-and-so. I have to go through the whole procedure of doing the paperwork, getting things signed, going to interviews, getting approved, and so forth. Seeing that we have a king here, the other example I could give is the king or the president, let's say, has made up their mind that they want to pass a law, but before they could pass this law, they have to go through Congress, right? They have to get the vote of the people, right? Because that's part of the system. That's part of the system that they are in. So this could have something to do with a system, right? You kind of like battling out with the system, with the order of things. Or if it's not you, this could be the situation where something cannot proceed because there's so many steps to it. It has to pass through so many people before it can actually proceed, before it can actually get somewhere. And maybe that's why you were drawn to the journey card, because this does feel like a journey. The other situation I'm seeing is someone has this desire to get started and get going. They have a vision of what it is that they want to achieve, of what they want to accomplish, or what they want to see at the end of the road. But they don't yet have a plan. They're missing the practical aspects. It's like, yes, they have the passion, yes, they have the desire, but they're not setting any foundations, right? They're not necessarily taking any kind of steps. To give an example, this could be a situation in which person A they want to attend university, right? But they haven't applied to any universities. They haven't even looked into any applications, but they just have this vision of themselves attending university. Or someone who wants to start a business, but they haven't taken any steps to make that happen yet, right? They're mostly talking about it, they're envisioning it, they're so ready for it. But when it comes to the steps, when it comes to the practical aspect of things, they haven't really gotten much done. And so, because of this, I'm seeing some delays, right? We cannot really move forward until we get the basics down. We cannot really move forward until we go through the steps. And maybe this is a situation in which someone is coming to terms with the fact that something will be a journey, right? That something will require a lot of steps, that it's not, I thought of cheese all of a sudden. Why did I think of cheese? But it's not a turn of the page situation where, the idea is on one side of the page and you turn the page and then the idea manifests, right? No, there's work needs to be put into this. Time needs to be put into this as well. There might even be a need to financially invest. But yeah, because we have two cards in the upright, which are both swords, and then two cards in the reversal, which are both remind me of Earth. I mean, the Hierophant is associated with the zodiac sign Taurus, which is an Earth sign, and then the Page of Pentacles are associated with the element of Earth. There is some kind of divide. So this could be someone is battling out with the bureaucracy, with a system. They could be feeling that a system is slowing them down, slowing down their plans, or they could feel a little bit hindered by the lack of progress coming from someone who has some kind of authority, right? For example, someone is making plans to transfer from one school to another, but there's some trouble with the paperwork. The school system isn't handling the paperwork very well. They're lagging it, they're taking time, or there's a lot of steps that this person needs to take in order for them to simply transfer to this other school so that they can continue their higher education journey. And these are just examples, right? Just examples to help illustrate the energy here. But if this happens to be your exact situation, then take it as a confirmation. But if not, use it as an example. And another situation I'm seeing is like someone here has a vision. They're very enthusiastic about a dream of theirs, but they're not being very practical about it, right? I'm also seeing this being a situation where someone has this idea that something is going to be very quick, very fast and easy. And I mean, that could end up being the case. But with the Hierophant and the Reversal and the Page of Pentacles, yeah, this person could be missing or overlooking the practical aspect of something. But I will say the Hierophant and the Reversal can indicate the unconventional, right? It's a card that represents challenging traditions. So someone's approach to maybe not have a full plan could be their way of challenging traditions, could be a way of saying, okay, well, what would be the practical thing would be to have all the steps planned out, laid out, but I'm not very practical myself. I don't do things traditionally, so I'm going to do it my own way. I'm going to jump into something without really having a fully fleshed out plan, right? And I feel like someone, if this involves more than one person, I feel like someone could be taking this very like go-getter, seize the moment approach. And somebody else could be a little irritated by this because maybe the person who is irritated by the seize the moments person's approach could be very practical themselves. They could be very traditional. They like to do things step by step in order. Whereas the seize the moment person is more about the YOLO life. Like, you only live once. So let's just jump into action. Why wait? Why wait until we have all the information? Let's just learn on the way. So someone could be, what's the word? Could be winging it. And that might not be sitting right with somebody else. Yeah, and for others of you, if it's not about you dealing with a system, the bureaucracy, this could be about you needing to wait on another to make up their mind, right? Maybe you already have decided this is what I want, but before you can proceed, you need the approval of somebody else, someone in specific, and you're waiting on them because they themselves haven't decided yet. They could be taking their time, or they could be moving at a slower pace than you, or they could have something else on their mind. Right. I just thought of someone who like is apartment hunting or is hunting for a new place to rent or to live in, and they found a place, but they're waiting on the landlord to offer them a deal or to rent the place to them or sell the place to them. And so they're patiently, quote unquote, patiently waiting for someone else to allow them to move forward. Okay, so that is what is coming through. If this resonates with you, then please do stick around. But if not, you are more than welcome to select another group if you feel called to do so. By the way, in terms to zodiac signs, we have Aquarius with the King of Swords and Taurus with the Hierophant, and I believe Gemini with the Knight of Swords. Yeah, so Taurus, Gemini, and Aquarius could be of significance. But let me now draw out cards to find out what is the perspective of the other person involved in the situation. What is their take? What is the other person's take on the situation? So the first card is the Eight of Cups in the reversal. The second card is again the King of Swords. Interesting. Oh, okay, wait. Those are way too many cards. So I'm going to try again. Okay, there we go. And how does this card want to fall out? And we have the Ten of Wands in the upright. Okay, so with the Eight of Cups in the reversal, someone is not giving up. They are not giving up. They are not calling quits. They're holding on. So this could be the perspective of this person. They are seeing that someone is not giving up. Someone is holding on, especially because we have the King of Swords here again. So yeah, if you were identifying with the King of Swords, then this person sees you as someone who doesn't give in or doesn't give up that easily. You're here to claim your prize or make something happen, So if you identified with the King of Swords, if it's you who has a vision, if it's you who wants to see something through, then this person sees that in you. They recognize that determination, that ambition in you, and that willingness to make something happen, right? But I also sense that this person knows that something will require tenacity, something will require determination, and even a little bit of stubbornness, right? Because the journey, let's say, the path isn't easy, right? It will require a lot of work. That's what the Ten of Wands is hinting at. And so if the situation you are inquiring about is about the completion of something, is about achieving a goal or seeing something through, then this person's perspective is that it will take a lot of work. And the King of Swords makes me think of making up your mind and being set on your decision, right? The King of Swords isn't wishy-washy. They don't make up their mind one moment and then change it the next. Like once they've made a decision, they stick to it. So what else I'm seeing is this person's take on the situation is that someone does need to be determined, decisive, and assertive. If they're not, if they're wishy-washy, then it's going to be very difficult to see something through. There needs to be commitment. That's what the King of Swords is representing. And so these cards could be representing what this person is looking for in this situation or what they feel is needed for something to be successful. As an example, let's say if this is about a landlord and a tenant. The landlord is looking for a committed person, a responsible person to rent to. If, let's say, the landlord has this whole procedure to find someone to rent to, then they have a reason for why they have this whole procedure. It's because they're looking for someone who is willing to go through it, to rent the place. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who is committed. They're looking for someone who really wants this. The King of Swords, as mentioned, is known to be very strategic. And so what else I'm seeing is this person, they see that there is value in making plans and thinking things through before taking action. But they understand that simply thinking, simply formulating and envisioning will not be enough to see something through, to make something happen. That actual work, right, putting in effort, getting hands-on is necessary. Right? So I sense that this person has a nice balance. Like they are a visionary, right? They have ideas, but they are also practical. They are a grounded dreamer. Or that's what they see is needed. Someone who is both. Someone who can see the practical aspects of things, can strategize, and can also dream, can also envision, can also think outside of the box. But I do sense that this person sees that someone is not ready to give up, or they themselves could not be ready to give up. Like they themselves are very determined to see something through and they're willing to put in more effort. I do want to draw out another card to clarify the Ten of Wands, please. Eight of Wands, wow, or Wand energy. The Eight of Wands can indicate swiftness, something coming in fast. It can also indicate momentum and good news, action. Yeah, so I'm seeing determination here. As mentioned already several times, someone here is not ready to give up. Either this person is not ready to give up, or they see that a situation is still worth fighting for, and they're willing to fight for it. They're willing to invest more in it, to put in the energy to see it through. Or they see that someone who is a part of this situation here has the determination to continue on with something, to see something through. Right? They're not giving up. They're not slowing down. Even if there's a lot of work to do, even if someone who has been working very hard on something is already tired, they're not exactly slowing down. Right? Even if, like, let's say the bureaucracy, a system may be trying to slow someone who is wanting to see something through down, it's still not enough to slow this person down. I heard, you're not convincing me to give up. you won't dissuade me or steer me off my path. I am committed. I am committed to my goal. I am committed to my dream. Or I'm committed to seeing this through. I'm not done yet. Yeah, so if you came in here wondering whether someone was ready to give in or give up, the answer is no. They're not ready yet. They still have it in them to keep on going. And they're coming through with a lot of stamina, with a lot of determination and willingness. If you are wondering whether someone sees potential in you, I heard whether they see you as a worthy opponent or worthy candidate, the answer to your question is yes, they do. I feel like someone sees that you have it in you. You have it in you to see something through. This is the specific storyline that is coming through that might be the situation for some. I don't feel like it will be the situation for everybody, but the specific storyline that is coming through is, let's say, person A has a dream, has a goal. And it could be pretty ambitious, this dream, this goal. And person A is someone who doesn't usually take the conventional route to things. They aren't very practical, right? They are not a planner. They're not much of a strategist. They don't do things in order, etc. And because of this, a lot of people who person A talks to might not believe person A when they say, I'm going to make this dream of mine a reality. They're like, yeah, sure, person A, keep on dreaming. But then person B, who is the person's perspective I am picking up on, comes into the picture, looks at person A and sees, well, yeah, person A might not be very practical. They are not a great planner. And maybe they have never achieved anything like they want to achieve. But you know what? With all of that in mind, I still believe that person A has it in them to make their dream a reality. I believe in person A. I believe that they will figure it out. If they find at any point in their journey that they do need to make some kind of plan or start planning, I feel like even though it's uncommon for person A to plan, they will end up coming up with a brilliant plan. They have it in them. Or I believe that if person A applies themselves, if they are truly serious about this and they commit, and maybe they apply a little bit more discipline, because the King of Swords can indicate discipline, as well as the Ten of Wands sometimes, then they can definitely see this through. Because I see something in person A. So I believe in person A. I see great potential in person A. But maybe they do need a little bit of discipline, or they do need to commit. They do need to be serious about this in order for them to achieve their goals or make their dreams a reality. Because the other situation I'm seeing from this perspective, like the perspective of the other person, is that they could see or note that someone does need to put in extra work and effort, that it is necessary to be able to make progress or to see something through. So again, if you resonated with the King of Swords, then yeah, this person could be seeing that a little bit more commitment from you, maybe a little bit more discipline will help you in achieving something that you want to achieve, right? So I guess this is a situation where, again, if you're resonating with this energy, where you might need to ask yourself if you are lacking discipline, or if maybe there is some procrastination on your part, or some action is required on your part to move things along. Because if that is the case, then this person sees that. And they might, if this is someone who you are in contact with, that you confide in, they might point it out to you from time to time. This would move a little bit faster if you took the necessary steps. If you're waiting to hear back from someone, maybe you would hear back from them sooner if you actually called them, if you followed up with them, right? I feel like that's the perspective of this person. Yeah, I feel like this person sees that something could move a little faster if someone else became a little bit more involved or took the necessary action. And if you are waiting on someone, and if the person you are waiting on is the person that you came into this reading thinking about, wanting to know their perspective, they haven't abandoned the situation. They haven't ghosted you, is what I heard. They haven't forgotten you. Something could have held them up, but I see them proceeding with this at some point. I feel like they're waiting for something. So if this is like literally you dealing with the bureaucracy, they could be waiting on a higher up. They could be waiting on somebody else's approval because they cannot proceed until they get that person's approval before they can give you an approval. But once they do, they will immediately reach out to you, right? They will immediately move things along. Yeah, the Ten of Wands also makes me think of someone who's very busy. So this person could be very busy. I all of a sudden thought of someone who is like handling a lot of cases at the same time. And so they're working through each case until they get to yours, until they get to you. But they will get to you. And once they do, things will move very, very quickly. Right? Because I feel like this person is someone who is very responsible with the King of Swords, and they do wish for things to move a lot faster. But again, things might not move at the pace that they want to because they do have to like wait on other people, right? And maybe it's the other people, the whole process that could take a long time, which doesn't allow for them to move at the pace that they would want to. Or the other situation I'm seeing is they could just be a very busy person. And because we do have the King of Swords here and the Ten of Wands, I feel like this person is someone who commits to their work. So they don't like to half-ass things. They don't like to rush through their work just to get it done. They commit to every project that they take on. So that might result in them taking a little longer than they anticipated with each case, with each project. But as soon as they're done, they move on to the next thing. They move on to the next case, the next project. They try to attend to their business as quickly as possible without interfering with the quality of their work. So I feel like as soon as they get to you, things will move very, very quickly. They will address you, attend to you very, very quickly and with a lot of focus. The Ten of Wands and the Eight of Wands makes me think of like someone like zoning in on a task. So once you have this person's attention, you will have their full undivided attention. Or if you're coming into this reading wanting to know whether, again, someone is considering you, right? If this is like about an application process, they are definitely considering you. And maybe this person, they already want to hire you. They already want to take you in, make you part of their team. But again, they could be waiting on other people if like they're not the one with the last word. Or they could be waiting on a whole process, right? Maybe they have to do a whole process first before they are able to reach out to you with an acceptance and approval or that sort of thing. But I feel like they definitely are thinking about you, maybe about promoting you, or about taking you in, or moving on you onto the next level, or approving you, etc. Or giving you the role is what I heard. Giving you the role, giving you the opportunity, giving you the offer. Yeah, so now that I think about what was mentioned at the start of the reading before I pulled out these cards, if there is some uncertainty in your life, if you feel like something is up in the air, it could be because you are waiting on someone's decision. You are waiting to hear back from someone. And you will. It might take some time, but you will definitely be hearing back from this person, or you will be able to move forward. Now, again, if there is something that you can do right now to move things along, if there are necessary steps that you need to take in order to see progress or in order to help something move along faster, then you are being advised to do so. Or maybe I'm just picking up on the perspective of this person, because based on this person's perspective, it seems like they feel like it is necessary for you to take these steps. Or what else I'm saying is, if you want to see something through, you have to fully commit. You have to decide now, this is what I want, and become determined about seeing it through. Because maybe what you want to achieve is something that will require a lot of determination and perseverance on your part, because maybe it's not an easy task. It's not, let's say, an easy journey. Especially if it's something unconventional, if it's something that is not very set, like there's not a very set way of doing it, it has a lot of twists and turns, it comes with a lot of uncertainty. Yeah, you might need conviction in this journey, and also some awareness of the fact that this could be This could be a cray journey. This could be a journey that will have a lot of ups and downs or twists and turns, or that will require for you to commit, stay committed, be committed, or put in a lot of work, put in some effort. Yes, but that is what I am seeing. So now I'm going to draw out an extra oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. Okay, so 2 cards fell out. We have peace or melancholy with Pisces and emotion. The key phrase, a leaf drifts on water, and the message, a feeling of peacefulness, can make it seem as if you're floating without a care in the world. Melancholy can feel like being submerged in overwhelming currents. Remember that, like a leaf on the surface of a pond, emotions are always moving. We also have vitality, which is what I feel like this King of Swords has a lot of vitality, or someone in this situation has a lot of vitality. They have the vitality, the energy, the motivation maybe to see something through, to get something done. But we have vitality with Aries material. The key phrase, a seedling sprouts through the soil. And the message, it's time to fully honor the miracle of your life. You do not need to do anything to be deserving of love and happiness. Just being alive is enough. Take some time to appreciate who and where you are. Maybe someone here is seeing that another works very hard. They work very hard for what they have. They work very hard for themselves. Maybe they work very hard for others, and they wish to tell that person who is working very hard that all their efforts are appreciated and that they themselves are appreciated. So if you are the type of person who is constantly on the go, seeking the next big adventure, the next project, then this could be a suggestion to you to take a moment to appreciate who and where you are, to appreciate what you have achieved. You know, when I was looking at the journey card, these 3 mountains in the background kept calling my attention, but I never addressed them. And I feel like these mountains could be representing what you have overcome or what you will end up overcoming. And scaling a mountain is no easy feat. So be proud of what you have done, whatever it is that you have accomplished in life, because those are your accomplishments, those are your achievements. But remember, you do not need to do anything to be deserving of love and happiness. Think of a plant, think of a sprout, think of a bud. Even if they haven't fully bloomed yet, even if the sprout is just a sprout, it still adds so much color to this world. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I look at a sprout, it brings a smile to my face. And sprouts are not really providing me any shade. They're not bearing me any fruits. They're just there existing, and yet I am still amazed by them. So someone here is trying to let you know that you, by just being you, you lighten up this world. You lighten up their world. So they're thanking your existence, and they wish for you to start valuing your existence as well, and start appreciating yourself for who you are and not simply for what you do. Yeah, but this sprout also makes me think of like something new sprouting, like a dream, something being set into motion. Or I feel like something has already been set into motion, but we're waiting for the next spurt. Is it spurt? Of growth. For the sprout to grow a little more. Let's see. The number 3 could be of significance. I'm noticing that in the peace or melancholy card, we have the reflection of 3 pine trees. And then in the journey card, there's 3 mountains in the background. So the number 3 could be of importance. You could be seeing a lot of like numbers repeated 3 times, or the number 3 a lot, maybe the number 33 or 333 a lot. And this could be serving, and if so, this could be serving as a confirmation of sorts. I just heard beware of the number 3. I also heard something could be coming in 3s, maybe like blessings or news could be coming in 3s. I'm also thinking of like a time frame of 3, like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. So in 3 days, in 3 weeks, or 3 months, something might be happening for you. You might be hearing back from someone, or something will be moving on to the next level. You will be moving on to the next level. Yeah, but also the number 3 could be a lucky number for you. Maybe you were born on the 3rd month of the year, on the 3rd of a month, 13th, 30th, 31st, 23rd, or on a year that ends with the number 3, and this could be serving as confirmation. Yeah, but this is all that is coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support my channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to the grounded card, bienvenidos to your reading. So before I get started, I just want to let you know that I do have a mini fan running. So there could be some background noise coming from the mini fan. I apologize for it. It's very hot where I'm currently located, and I do not have AC. So the mini fan is all I have to not end up melting in this heat. Okay, but let us get started. So when meditating on the energy of this group, what I heard in my mind was the message or the expression, living it up. And right now what I keep hearing in my mind is the expression, breaking free. So someone here may be reclaiming their freedom, their independence. They could literally be living it up, or having a really good time. Or the other thing that I'm picking up on based on the card that you were drawn to is that someone could be partying a bit too much. I'm picking up on instant gratification. So someone could be continuously seeking the next thrill as a way to escape from responsibilities, or as a way to distract themselves from dealing with certain issues, from maybe doing some kind of inner work. Yeah, because this is a reading about different perspective, the situation I'm seeing is there's person A and person B, and person A might be using escapism tendencies as a coping mechanism, and person B might be looking at person A and thinking person A really needs to ground. They really need to address what is truly going on within. Because I keep picking up on somebody's energy whose perspective is somebody needs to settle down and ground. Yeah, so that's what I'm picking up so far. So I'm going to set this card aside, and I'm going to start working with the tarot. And the first set of cards will give us an objective perspective on the situation that you came into this reading thinking about. So if in this part of the reading you find that what is coming through isn't really resonating with you, or it's not the situation that you came into this reading thinking about, or it's not any situation that you're currently going through, then that may be an indicator that this reading is not for you. And so if you feel called to do so, you can select another group, especially if you were drawn to another group. Okay? Let us see. Okay, those are way too many cards, so let me try again. The cards of this deck tend to stick together, so oftentimes a lot of cards end up falling out at the same time. But your first card, or the first card, is the Two of Swords. Ooh. The second card is the Six of Cups in the reversal. And these are too many cards. And the last card is the Page of Wands in the upright. Okay. So I want to clarify. I spoke about partying, like someone may be partying a bit too much, but I want to clarify that someone could be using other means other than partying to distract themselves or to escape their own mind, their own feelings, problems, responsibilities, etc. But what I'm seeing here for the current situation, I'm sensing indecision. I'm picking up on a lot of back and forth, a lot of wavering. I thought of the hokey pokey dance, someone being 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And there's definitely a lack of clarity as well. So the Page of Wands is one of the most adventurous pages of the deck. They are extroverted, fearless, cheerful. They love to have fun and play. So the Page of Wands can lack seriousness at times. This page is at the start of their journey, right? They're not seeking to commit, they're not seeking to settle down. They're rather interested in exploring and, as mentioned, adventuring, having fun, goofing around a bit as well. And so with the Six of Cups being in the reversal, I wonder if this is just a situation where there is a lack of commitment, right? Where someone is in and out, or someone isn't quite decided on what it is they want to do next, but more specifically, what they will commit to next, whether they will commit or not. Yeah, with the Two of Swords, it's like someone is still deciding, someone is still seeking clarity. Or another situation I'm seeing is there being a lack of clarity overall, right? It's very similar to what came through in group 3 in the intuitive part of the reading. And I am noticing there is a lot of background noise. A lot of noise from the outside is filtering into my room. And I myself find it very distracting. So I wonder if someone here is experiencing a lot of confusion, if there's a lot of mental chatter, or a lot is going on within, and maybe that is what is scaring somebody away from like addressing what is going on within. Because with the Six of Cups in the reversal, which is the card that can indicate one's childhood or the past, I am sensing that someone could be struggling with facing some issues or matters related to the past. Because the Two of Swords can also indicate an inability to see the truth, or more like a resistance to see the truth, a resistance to see, to become aware of something. And the situation I'm seeing here is someone could be struggling to address childhood wounds. What I'm also seeing is someone being stuck in the past because they struggle with addressing and or facing the past. They are sort of, in a way, unable to move on from it. And so being unable to move on from the past, they continue repeating similar patterns and or cycles, or they distract themselves in a way. They use escapism tendencies to prevent themselves from moving forward. And this could all be happening on a subconscious level, but I'm also seeing a situation where someone might also be struggling to forward because there is maybe a fear of facing the future, facing the unknown. So, which is why I'm picking up on this hokey pokey dance, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because it's almost as if someone is circling around an issue, a matter. They're circling around the same spot without ever really moving forward, but without ever also addressing the past, right? We're just doing the same thing to keep ourselves busy, but there isn't exactly any kind of forward movement, either through addressing the past or through taking steps towards a future, towards creating some kind of future, some kind of change in our lives. And because the Six of Cups showed up, I wonder if this is about a relationship or a connection, or this is pertaining to a specific individual. Because if it's about a relationship or a connection, this could be a situation where, the relationship always runs hot and cold. It doesn't really go anywhere. Like, it seems like it's going to unfold or it's going to evolve, but then it doesn't, And if this is resonating with you, if this is about a connection or relationship, this could be a situation in which both individuals are dealing with similar issues. Maybe both individuals are struggling to address core wounds that maybe are affecting the way they handle their relationships or the way that they view relationships in general, or are creating some fear around commitment or around opening up, being vulnerable with another, trusting in their intuition as well. Or this could be a situation in which one person in the connection or relationship is uncertain of what they want, and it's because they have yet to really take the time to get to know themselves, to build a relationship with themselves. Because that's the other situation I'm seeing here. I'm sensing that someone has yet to take the time to build a strong and solid relationship with themselves, to kind of sit down with themselves, meditate, or just go within to get to understand their own inner world, their own thought process, their own tendencies and the reason behind their tendencies, or get to understand why it is that they are attracted to certain situations, certain experiences, certain energies. If it has anything to do with any wounds that they currently have, if it has to do with any traumas and or fears, right? Any limited beliefs. So I feel like if there is a lack of clarity, it is due to that. It is because someone here has yet to take the time to open up to themselves, not just to another, but to themselves. They have yet to be honest with themselves about what is really going on within, and whether or not they are running away from certain problems, whether or not they are distracting themselves from doing maybe some kind of inner work, or from addressing certain fears that they have, maybe fears around the past or fears about the future, about the unknown. Yeah, I'm sensing inner child wounds with the Six of Cups in the reversal. The Page of Wands also makes me think of someone who might be struggling or might be fearing more like growing up. And that could be because if there are inner child wounds, the inner child is refusing to grow up because the inner child is craving attention. And so it refuses anything that has to do with growing up. So that could be the case, this being about inner child wounds. But if not, this could be simply about someone here, or more than one person, needing to maybe take some time to get to know themselves first, or build a healthy relationship with themselves first, to then better understand what is it that they're looking for, what is it that they're actually needing and are longing for. Are they filling a certain void that they feel inside with distractions instead of healing that void? So that is what I'm seeing here. So if this resonated with you, if you feel that I did tap into the energy of the situation you came into this reading thinking about, then please do stick around. But if not, then once again, if you feel called to do so, you are more than welcome to select another group. But now I'm going to start drawing now cards to look into what the perspective of the other person is. What is the other person's take on this specific situation? So the first card is the Seven of Wands. The second card is the Ace of Cups. And the third card is the Nine of Swords. Okay. Yeah, so the Ace of Cups lets me know that there's a lot going on within. There's a lot of maybe pent-up emotions, pent-up feelings that have yet to be addressed, that have yet to be acknowledged. Or I'm also picking up on major sensitivity. Like someone could be very sensitive, and it is their sensitive nature that could often have them seeking some form of distraction to ease the sensitivity or to not become overwhelmed. Especially because we have the Nine of Swords here, which, paired up with the Ace of Cups does make me think anxious feelings, anxiety. So someone could deal with anxiety, but what is also coming through is just feeling overwhelmed by feelings, by emotions. So the Seven of Wands can often indicate a defensive energy. The word triggered keeps coming to mind. The Seven of Wands and the Ace of Cups makes me think of the word triggered. And so I'm sensing that this person sees that someone, or how they perceive it is that someone gets triggered. And every time they get triggered, they become defensive. Or they run away. Now, the Ace of Cups, again, is making me think of sensitivities. And the Nine of Swords, again, makes me think of anxiety. So this person sees that there are certain topics, there are certain matters that cannot be addressed with someone, because as soon as they're addressed, it triggers that person. And once they're triggered, they become very defensive, or they shut down, or maybe this person doesn't hear from them for a while. And because I spoke of like inner child wounds and childhood, this could have something to do with like triggers around childhood. But what I'm also picking up, especially with the Nine of Swords, is triggers around responsibilities or the future. The example that is coming to mind is, let's say, person A, represented by this bottom row here, right? Their perspective on the matter is every time they speak with person B about the future, about future plans, they notice that person B begins shutting down, or gets really anxious, or becomes really nervous or agitated, right? And so based on this, person A has deduced that person B doesn't really want to think about the future. They don't want to address it because the future makes them nervous. They're not ready to face it. That's the energy I'm getting here. It's like this person whose perspective I'm picking up on has noticed that someone is not ready to address something yet. They're still struggling with it, or they still feel very anxious and nervous about it, or even fearful about it. And the Ace of Cups often indicates vulnerability and opening up. And so the way that it is coming through is that this person perceives that someone is unable to fully open up because of the fact that they are unable to address and or talk about these matters. So I feel like this person has noticed that there's a lot of anxiety or anxious feelings, or someone is not yet, as mentioned before, ready to open up. The Ace of Cups can often talk about vulnerability, so it being paired with the Seven of Wands or being right next to the Seven of Wands also makes me think that this person has perceived that someone is not yet ready to be vulnerable, right? Or it takes a lot from them to be vulnerable, to open up, because with the Seven of Wands, what I'm sensing is every time there's an opportunity to be vulnerable, they become defensive, right? They start shutting down or shutting people out, right? The example that is coming to mind is like, let's say person A and person B are having a conversation, and person A begins asking person B very intimate questions, or questions that could lead to vulnerability, could lead to simply person A and person B getting to know each other on a more intimate level. And instead of person B responding or telling person A like, hey, I don't really want to answer that question, they begin becoming a little bit defensive. Or what else I'm seeing with the Seven of Wands is that person B could start feeling attacked, right? Even though person A is not attacking person B, they're simply asking questions to get to know person B on a more intimate level because they want to build that intimacy with person B. Person B might feel attacked by person A's questions, by person A's desire to want to connect on an intimate level, because person B is not ready to do so yet, or maybe person B fears intimacy, or there's just anxiety around opening up, right? And so the first reaction could be to become defensive. Because the Ace of Cups also is making me think of the nervous system. And so this is making me think of the fight, flight, freeze response. When there is something that we're running away from or something that we fear, when we are presented with it, we might either flee, fight it, or freeze. right? Those are the normal responses or usual responses or reactions when faced with something that feels to the body, to the mind, like a threat, right? And so I feel like this person has simply noticed that someone is dealing with something, that someone maybe has some core wounds, maybe has fear around intimacy, or is threatened, maybe, or feels threatened, or maybe their body, their mind, their nervous system feels threatened by the notion, the idea, the feeling of intimacy, of vulnerability, of connection, right? And they're not judging it. I don't feel like this person is judging it. They're simply observing. I feel like that's why I'm having a little bit trouble kind of communicating or conveying these messages, because this feels more like an observation, right? Which is kind of a perspective, right? But it's more like this person has observed like these reactions in another, has observed that someone does tend to close off, or does tend to become a little defensive, or is dealing with anxiety, or has a lot of worries, has a lot of concerns, maybe around intimacy, maybe around connection. The Nine of Swords also makes me think of someone who could overthink a bit, and because of this, they could lack clarity at times and not feel so very sure of themselves, so very sure of a situation. Again, I'm picking up on this back and forth. Like, the example that I'm getting from the Nine of Swords is, let's say someone feels, in the moment, they feel safe and okay with the situation or with someone, but then when they're on their own, they start overthinking their interaction with the person that they felt very safe with. They start overthinking an experience that in the moment they were quite enjoying. And once they start overthinking, that's when all the worries and the anxious feelings start surfacing, and they begin questioning themselves, questioning how they actually felt in the moment. Like, yes, I felt safe around this person, but is this person really safe? Did I really feel safe? Or I did enjoy the experience, but did I make a fool of myself? Did I say the wrong thing? This person said this, but did they really mean it? And then it kind of completely shifts and alters the perception of the experience, right? Or it brings about confusion, inner confusion in regards to how they actually felt in the moment. And that creates a lot of like back and forth of, you know, yes, I want this, but now that I think about it, maybe I don't want this. Or yes, I liked that experience, but now that I think about it, do I want to experience it again? Do I want to go through it again? Right? So I feel like this person sees that, right? They see that happening. They understand it. And again, they don't judge it. If this is about a relationship or a connection where there is a lot of back and forth, or there is some resistance coming from one person or the other, I feel like this person has come to the conclusion that if there is resistance, if there is a lot of back and forth, it's because there is some anxieties, right? There is some anxieties around like relationships, around commitment, or there are some maybe like childhood wounds, inner child wounds that are playing significant roles in how someone approaches relationships and our connections. Like, for example, if someone is dealing with abandonment wounds, because that's what they experienced in their childhood, for example, then they might struggle with opening up to another because the fear of being abandoned is still there, right? And so I feel like, if that were the case, this person would see that. Like, this person has already come to that conclusion themselves, like, oh, I think there's something here. There's a reason for all of this. And if this is about a connection, a relationship, this person could have also come to the conclusion that, it's not only one person dealing with this. Maybe if they themselves are the one resisting, for example, if they find themselves being on the defensive every time that there's an opportunity to open up or be vulnerable, or every time there's like intimacy, or there's about to be intimacy, then they have come to realize that it is because of this, right? It is because there is a wound. There is a core wound that is not allowing them to fully open up. And so this person with the Ace of Cups, which is also a card that can indicate healing, may have come to the conclusion that there is a need to heal, right? There is a need to address these wounds. to be able then to open up and be vulnerable, or to trust another, because this could also be about someone struggling with trusting another, or with surrendering to one's feelings, because the Ace of Cups, cups, it's all about emotions and feelings, and we have this cup overflowing. And this illustration is very interesting to me because of all the water droplets, which make me think of perspiration, and like agitation, which is why I spoke of someone feeling overwhelmed. So yeah, someone here, maybe this person has come to the conclusion that they do struggle with tapping into their emotions or being vulnerable, because being vulnerable means connecting with their emotions, allowing themselves to feel. And that's something that they still kind of struggle with, because maybe right now it feels like too much for them, right? So it's very interesting that the grounded card is the one that you were drawn to, because maybe this is indicating that there is a need to ground. There is a need to feel safe within oneself first. Maybe that is very crucial. Safe within one's own body, safe with feeling through one's own emotions. Because with these three cards, the Seven of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and the Nine of Swords, I feel like someone is maybe right now feeling a bit ungrounded, or a connection or relationship might be feeling a bit ungrounded, because so much is going on at the same time. The way that I'm seeing it in my mind is like someone or something jumping from one thing to another. Right? And so when we haven't fully addressed what is going on within, sometimes what happens is that we kind of get a glimpse of every feeling that we are repressing. And we jump from one to the next very quickly. And that in itself becomes very overwhelming. Right? Like, for example, if we have certain fears and anxieties, but there's also sadness and grief that we have yet to address and feel through, then because they're still there, we are bound to feel them, but not in a way that allows us to feel through them, to be able to release them. And so what happens is we kind of skim through them? It's like I keep thinking of like lily pads. We kind of touch them briefly, like bang, 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 each one. And as we're jumping from one to the other, it ends up feeling like going through a roller coaster of emotions. It ends up becoming very, very overwhelming. So I feel like with the grounded card, there is a need to take some time to be with oneself, to feel through each emotion, to just allow ourselves to feel, even if it feels uncomfortable in the moment, because some emotions, they do feel uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean that they're bad, and that doesn't mean that we won't end up seeing ourselves through them. We will, but we have to push past through the discomfort. And so this could also be a situation where someone kind of needs to get comfortable with discomfort, because it could be the running away from discomfort that is not really allowing a person to heal or to move forward or to be able to build a beautiful relationship, because to build a beautiful relationship also means to deepen it. And I feel like what is happening here is someone is kind of running away from the deepening. We're keeping it surface level because keeping it surface level is easier to be able to run away from it, move away from it, than if we were to deepen a connection. Because once something has roots, then it's kind of really hard to pull it out of the soil. It's really hard to walk away from it or move on from it or distance ourselves from it. And literally in the grounded card, we have deep, deep roots here. They're reaching all the way to a water source. So I feel like what is needed is to root, to ground, and to allow for something to deepen, to really get in touch with one's emotions and be comfortable with vulnerability, with intimacy, be comfortable with discomfort, to be able to then grow, right? Because it is only when a seed roots that then it's able to sprout and grow. Yeah, so with the grounded card, what I'm also seeing is this person might have deduced. That's the word that keeps coming to mind, deduce, which is why I keep mentioning that I feel like I'm getting more of an observation from this person. But this person has deduced that if this is about a relationship or a connection, that this relationship connection cannot really deepen, it cannot really grow into something more until you both, or how many people are in this connection or relationship, feel comfortable with intimacy until you both feel safe. I heard loosen the fear around feeling and being safe. I know that sounds quite bizarre, but when we have lacked a lot of safety and security in our life, safety and security becomes unfamiliar. And oftentimes, as humans, we run away from that which is unfamiliar. And so, safety and security ends up being something that, if it's unfamiliar to us, we might end up running away from, or we might end up fearing because it feels strange to us since it's so unfamiliar. And so, if that resonates with you, if you feel like you have lacked a lot of security and like safety in your life, then there could be some fears around that. Or like every time you come face to face with it, every time you like sense it, your body, your senses, your nervous system might react to it in a way that might trigger a certain response, a certain reaction, like being on the defensive, or feeling unsure or overwhelmed, etc. So I feel like there's some healing that needs to be done, or there's some inner work, or there's a need to, again, take some time to be with oneself to really address what goes on within. And I want to be clear, if you are open to like starting some kind of healing journey, you don't have to do it on your own, right? When I say sit down with yourself, I mean it as like take a moment to like connect with your inner being, but it's not about you isolating yourself completely and trying to figure it out all on your own, because some things are difficult to address on our own. So if you ever feel like you need support, please do reach out, ask for it from someone who you feel you can confide in, from someone who can maybe walk you through certain issues matters to be able to find healing. So this could be like seeking help from a professional, from a therapist, from a counselor, or someone who could provide you some kind of emotional support. But what is also coming through is it's important to keep in mind that although we can find healing in connections and relationships, it's not up to others to heal us. I mean, we can be inspired by others and that can provide a lot of healing, but at the end of the day, it's always us who heals ourselves, right? It's our determination, our willingness to address whatever is going on within and to be open to healing that allows for healing, right? Another cannot force healing on you or cannot force you to heal, because healing is something that we give consent to. It's something that we have to allow, we ourselves. So at the end of the day, it is you who heals you. So if this is about a relationship or a connection where two people do need to like heal something within, healing can be done. Like two people can heal while being in a relationship with each other. That is if the relationship and the connection itself is conducive to the healing, right? But if it isn't, then that is when oftentimes it is suggested to take some time for yourself, to take some time to be on your own, to be able to heal, right? But know that one can heal while being in a relationship, in a connection. But again, that is if the connection, the relationship itself is conducive to the healing, to the inner work. Right? Because if it isn't, then the connection, the relationship might just end up being a distraction. Another way to keep from oneself from doing the inner work. But I want to now draw out a oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. So we have attentiveness with Virgo and Spirit, and the key phrase, searching for gemstones in the dirt, and the message, it's time to look very closely at what's right in front of you. Is there something you're missing? Can the power of your attention turn a negative into a positive? An optimistic mindset might help you see what's possible. Yeah, so attentiveness also makes me think of like being attentive to oneself, being attentive maybe to one's triggers. It's not just about knowing that you have a trigger, but it's also coming to realize and becoming aware of what those triggers are and why they are there. And that could also help with you better understanding what could soothe those triggers, what can maybe deactivate them as well. Attentiveness also makes me think of awareness, having awareness of oneself, having awareness of one's inner world, of one's emotional states, of one's emotions. And attentiveness also makes me think of what it is that you're focusing on. right? Because oftentimes what we give attention to, we give power to. And so if our mind is always gravitating towards what it believes didn't go well, then it can end up magnifying that and making it feel like that's all we experience, when in actuality, we also experience things that did go well. So if you find that your mind tends to focus on things that it supposes it didn't go well, try to see if you can redirect your focus. Try to remember and maybe write down like an experience that you had, an event, write everything down without bias, so that then you can see, okay, well, this did go well. I actually like that, and start training your mind to also focus on that which you did enjoy, which you did like, which you would like to see more of. And also train your mind to look at situations that maybe didn't go as you expected, not in a negative light, but more in a light of possibilities. Like, okay, well, that didn't go well, but how can I improve that for the next time? Like there is a possibility to do something better the next time, or to have even a better experience. And, kind of creating this flexibility instead of just having this fixed mindset of it's either wrong or right, it's black or white. Because having that black and white mindset can be very limiting, since life isn't really black and white. Life is very complex. As like humans are so complex. What I mean by complex is intricate. Yeah, so I feel like this is hinting at, again, taking some time to be with oneself, to get to know oneself more, to like maybe reprogram one's own mind, to work with one's own mind, to understand one's own capacity to create, to transform, and to transmute. So if you feel like you have been distracting yourself from focusing on what is going on within, then maybe this is kind of like your suggestion to take a break from the distractions, to give yourself some time to get to know yourself, to reconnect with yourself, because it is through that you will find liberation. It is through that you would truly find freedom. You don't need to run away from your fears in order to experience peace or to keep yourself safe, because you can face your fears and find peace. You can face your fears and return to peace, is what I heard. The attentiveness card is a confirmation to me that the person you came into this video thinking about, wanting to know their perspective, is very attentive. They're very observant. And so they have been observing the situation closely. Again, if this is about a relationship or a connection, just know that this person has been paying you attention. And as mentioned before, what came through, I feel, in this reading have been their observations. But once again, I want to repeat, I don't sense any judgment from this person. I feel like this person is very understanding, or they can be very understanding, or they are someone who wants to understand. If this person is someone who is taking the time to understand you, is asking questions, personal questions, it is because they care. They do want to get to know you more. But this is what is coming through. Anything else I want to point out? I want to draw out one more card. For you guys, I want to draw it out from this deck. Oh, and we have your inner being is a natural state of love regardless of the conditions. And I love how we have two people here kind of like holding each other as they're looking out into the sea. And the sea makes me think of like one's emotions, right? A sea of emotions, one's inner world. And these two people are not looking away from the sea, they're looking at it. So again, this makes me think of healing, like someone having come out of a healing journey. Like we have healed enough for us to be able to sit here in awe of the ocean, of the sea, in peace. Because we do have these white birds, which make me think of white doves. And white doves often represent peace, a peaceful energy. So this is quite beautiful. But this is what is coming through for you guys. Anything else I want to point out? No. If there's anything in specific that draws your attention, then please do consider it. Whether it be numbers, words, illustrations, colors, or symbols. But these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website. And the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much, and I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye.